Hey folks, cheers. Got a repair in today. We're going to be putting a new motor into this Revo. I'm not exactly sure what's wrong with the old motor, but I'll try to start it before I swap it out. But nonetheless, it's getting a new 3.3 in it. So that's what we're doing today. Stay tuned. Alright, I've done quite a few of these Revos throughout my time with radio controlled cars. So, Traxxas makes it a little difficult to get in here, but if you have the right tool, which is what we have here, you can get right down in here. Let me see if I can get you in here. See what you can see here. See where you see this tool going here. Okay. Let's see. It's like surgery, kind of. But you can see my tool in there now, right? See, I'm backing that screw out. Well, there's two like that. And it's an easy job when you're just swapping out a 3.3 for a 3.3. There's no modifications to the motor mounts. Nothing. Everything's a direct fit. And I also made sure that the easy start was working, and it works just fine. So let's see if we can get you over here with me. Hopefully you can see that. One more. There we go. Alright. I think that just about does it. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. Let me set you down here for a moment. Keep you close at hand. Let's pull this air cleaner off. You should be all set here. Just a moment. So what else we have here? That's loose. We just gotta clear exhaust is loose. Disconnect our fuel lines. Both out of the way. There we are. And these are quite easy to put back. Wow, that one's on there pretty good. Well, it seems as somebody soldered it. And I know why they did that, because that ground wire loves to pop off of that easy start motor. Let's see if I can repair the channel locks to work it loose. Otherwise I'll have to fire up the soldering iron. Oh, no, it's good. So yeah. Here's your motor, exhaust. Now, real quick, let's set this aside. We're not going to need this for a couple moments. Now when you swap it out a motor, or even when you're doing clutches, you want to actually replace the bearings inside your clutch bell also. So we have those parts as well. And this is also going to get new clutches. The flywheel and everything else is going to be used. Easy start, exhaust, but this does not come with a new engine. So if it's not damaged, we're just going to reuse it, which is what we're going to do today. So I'll get this set up to swap it out, and I'll walk you through how to change it out. Alright folks, here's your clutch, your clutch shoes and your spring, part number 414X, 46X. Your new bearings for your clutch bill, Traxxas part number 5116. And yeah, so those are the only two new parts that we're going to replace for the clutch system. But everything else we are going to reuse. So let's get to that. You'll see that there's an E-clip here that retains this. Be careful when you're pulling that off, because they will go flying. It's nice to have a small screwdriver, kind of like that one right there. Put it inside so. You see that? Shroud it, make sure it doesn't go flying. And there it is. When you're taking these off, lay your parts out like so you don't lose them. Exactly the way you pulled them off. And we're going to take a look at these bearings together also. If you look down inside here, you can see that there's been a lot of heat applied to this bearing. Obviously it's spinning and you got the motor, you know, so there's a lot of heat naturally generated through that area. But you can see it just feels, you have to take my word for it, it just feels very sticky, you know. So that's why you want to replace the bearings. This should be done on a regular basis anyway. So if you run your car a lot, which most people do, they don't spend $500–600 on these nitro cars to look at them. So you have to change these quite often. So I would advise, at these prices, $4.50 for the bearings and $8 for the clutch, every time you change the shoes, change the bearings. It's just good advice. So yeah, let's knock these out. Yeah, that one's the inside one's falling apart. Yeah, that's not yeah, these are crap, these are toast. Okay, put that over there. And we're not going to be using this. These are toast because we're replacing them. That's also garbage. Now, we have to remove this. Sometimes you may have to put these in a vise, but we're going to see how it works out for us right now. Yeah, so far it may be a vise, but let's see if we can get it with the channel locks here, okay? Nice. Ah, there we go. I had to put a little more balls into it. But there we are. We're not out of the water yet. Because now, sometimes we have to put this into a vise just to tap it out. Let's see if this will do it. I'm trying to find a way that you can do this at home if you do not have a bench vise. I have a bench vise. So, alright, there we go. Got it. You can actually remove that from the motor by using this screwdriver, a flat blade screwdriver. Make sure it's a nice solid one so it doesn't snap and bend on you. Also, new motor does not come with this collar. So we're going to have to reuse this collar that's on here. So take your time and you'll be able to get that off without damaging it. It usually doesn't offer up much resistance. There it is. So yeah. So now what we need to do is we need to remove the easy start system and then the exhaust. Sorry, I stepped out of the frame. I had to get the right tool for the job. So this is a 2mm hex that holds the easy start onto the motor. And I can see one of these screws are already missing, so we'll have to see if we can find a replacement. You see there's one missing. You don't want any of these gone because you need the pressure to keep these gears engaged to the one-way bearing. So that may have been part of his problem. Just so you know, folks, I did try to start this engine, and it did start with a fresh battery. So yeah, but who am I to argue with the guy? He bought a new engine, he's getting a new engine. Here, here. Okay. Yeah, one-way bearing looks good. And it worked fantastic when I fired up the motor, so there. Oh wow, there goes some motor mount bolts stuck to the motor. Imagine that. That's what magnets do. Alright, let's get this exhaust off. You don't have to do this. Oh, that's already loose. So yeah, you know what we're going to have to put on there, folks? A little Loctite. It's nice to know the motor is actually still good. I mean, if he doesn't want it back, I'll clean it up and set it aside. When it started, it seemed very strong, so and there's that. And that's what we're replacing right there. So yeah, let's get our mount bolts down to there. Today, Junior. Sometimes things just need to be persuaded with the right tool, if you know what I'm saying. There's one. Wow, stubborn. Looks like the thread might be a little gnarled. It's alright. Hold on. Sometimes it takes a different tool. Yeah, wow. It's not supposed to offer up any resistance, but there it was, offering up resistance. So, yeah. Alright, let's open this box here. By the way, these are retailing for about 144 bucks. The local hobby shop he got this from was at $139.99. So yeah, he got a pretty good deal on that. But if he was smart, he would actually contacted Traxxas, because they offer up a lifetime warranty on these 3.3 motors. And even if he didn't get an even swap out, he probably would have got one for 50 bucks. That's usually how they do it. But you can see lifetime engine replacement plan. You know, they probably charge you 50 bucks. You send the old one in, and they'll send you a new one. Call that a bargain. Okay. Get your manual. Read this if you've never done these before. And warranty card, a couple of stickers. Not that I'll ever put those on anything. And yeah, so moving right on. Motor. And that's the part we're not going to use. And wow, they give you some oil filter oil. Sweet. And so yeah, let's discard this box and the rest of this crap. Alrighty then. So as you can see, they give you the retention bolt for the flywheel. But as you can see, there is no collar with this new motor, which is ironic to me. I just don't understand that. But it's no big deal because we're going to reuse it. So if we get it on there, you see it's on there now. Okay. Now we're going to lay that on so. And we'll use the new nut. Not that there's anything wrong with the old one, because there isn't. Alright. Now we have to remove this guy because we're not going to go with a pull start. We're going back to the easy start. But hey, I just found that nut that was missing off the easy start. So hey, yay. I love it when a plan comes together. Yes. I guess I should let you see that instead of having my hand over it. Keep you guys with me here and keep you interested. And, you know, I for one like the pull start, you know. I mean, I like the idea of the easy start, but the Traxxas easy start system, it will always crank the motor, but it doesn't necessarily always apply enough power to the glow plug. So you'll find yourself always having to use an alternative for the glow plug, such as the hot shot, you know. And, you know, with an easy start, you always have to make sure your batteries are charged. So with a pull start, you just pull it and you go. So yeah, there's something nice about that too. I guess with every system there's a pro and a con. If you know what I'm saying. Okay. There we are. So yeah. First thing we're going to install is the exhaust, okay? Because it's next to impossible to get these screws in here once the easy start is on. So the idea is to put things back together the way we took them apart. You know, I mean, that's just sound advice, you know? Let's see here. Got to route this exactly the way it's supposed to go. So there's that, and this comes like so. Because you have to, the tailpipe is going to go out this way, opposite the engine, so we're in good shape. Now we are. Well, I thought we were. So yeah. Just as soon as I get this one started, I'll turn it around. There's the one. Hopefully you guys can see that, and girls. Got to make sure that we don't cross thread that, so we don't need more trouble than we're worth, than we signed on for. I mean, after all, it's a brand new motor, and we want to give this vehicle back in better condition than what we received it. If that makes any sense to you folks. Nice. I thought about that Loctite, and I realized, you know, Loctite really doesn't work under heat anyway, so in fact, to remove Loctite, you apply heat. So yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so also you have to keep in mind that this throttle horn here has to sit down into the channel on the Revo, because it's well, we'll go through that when we go to reinstall it. But you folks out there that have never done these before, you have to make sure that this horn is actually facing down. In fact, let's look at the old motor. Well, you see how the Revo actually mounts just like this. The Traxxas T-Max is actually something different. So, pardon me, my charger just turned off. There. The Traxxas actually faces up almost like the 2 o'clock position. So, when you get these, I just got lucky. That's actually facing in a Revo position. if you need to rotate these at all, you don't loosen this. You loosen the little set screw right in there, and you rotate it. So yeah, this here we're probably not going to use because that's not going to fit in the Revo. It needs this big honker to route itself out of the way. But we'll oil this down, this filter. So yeah. Okay, let's get on with the easy start. Not much to do here, but you want to make sure that there seems to be one missing. But there's a washer. I'm going to use it off the pull start, okay? That seats down in here. It needs to be on there. Just put it on there, you know? When you're seating this in here, this motor has to go up to the side of the engine. You know, if it's not going anyway, like for instance, this would be wrong unless, you know, you're customizing something and that happens to work out for you, then hey, good for you. But for the Revo, this is the position. If I can just stop with my clumsy fingers. Just one way back in here. There we go. Alright. I mean, swap out motors out on a Revo, and it's actually quite easy. A little easier on a T-Max. You got a little more room to work, but for the most part, pretty quick. The longest part is going to be breaking this motor in. You know, 5 tanks, and that's 3.3 is kind of a gas hog, so that's kind of a good thing for the guy breaking it in anyway, because it'll go a little faster. But the first 2 tanks are just idle tanks, so that could be a slow, painful, time-consuming task. But yeah. So yeah, we got an extra screw that we were missing earlier. We're just going to use it out of the pull start. Yay. Gotta love it when a plan comes together, huh? Nice. So, yeah. Alright, so let's work on our, a lot of clutch dust on there. Kinda icky. You hear the compression, though. Nice. Alright. So, yeah. Let's do our clutch. These can either be a pain in the ass or they can go really quick. But either way, has to be done. And I found it's easier to actually put this spring together. The spring, you see that spring right there? Yeah, that's a spring. So yeah, you see a little hook on there, on that side, a little hook on that side. We're going to put these together. And yeah, hey, I did that with no glasses. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Also, this is a key. This is a good tip also. When you put this first clutch shoe on, you want to make sure the spring opening is in the middle of the clutch shoe instead of on the edge, because it could pop out real easy on you. So we'll show you how that's done right now. Alright, you see where our spring opening is at? It's in the middle of this clutch shoe. Now, opposite holes. You have a hole on this side, well, this other side, yin and yang. See the eyeballs? Oh, I guess you need to see the eyeballs. See the eyeballs? You want them opposite. So, yeah. So, start this here and be patient. If you've never done these before, the first time you do them, they will be a pain in the you know what. So, just be patient. Ah, there you go. Boom, just like that. So assemble it first. And you see the stems here? 1, 2. We're going to put this right down on top. And, yeah. There we go. Got a little push there. And there. We're ready to put our clutch bell on. Not until we replace our bearings, which are right here. So yeah, I'm gonna force fit a bearing in the front there. Click. And one in the back side. Alright, there you are. Okay. So now, we also want to oh yeah, nice. Okay. You need a washer, or the washer. Okay. And then your E-clip, which is the final step. Did you see that right there? That's the final step. Now, break out your trusty needle nose and just take it easy. And there you are. That thing is ready to go back into the truck. So yeah, be right back, folks. Okay. All I've done so far without you guys viewing was hook these wires back up. The red goes to the red dot on the motor and the black goes to the black. Usually the black is always down on the Traxxas vehicles. I'm going to show you how easy this thing is to actually get back down in here. Also, I discussed earlier about where this fuel horn should go, you know, the throttle horn. Well, it's going to go down into this guy right here. This thing is stationary. Here's how it works, okay? You see, the servo will pull it. So no adjustments. It's not adjustable. The only thing adjustable is the position of this guy right here. But we got very lucky. It was already down. You know, it's no big deal anyway. So, yeah. So now you kind of want to finagle this in. Get it down underneath your spur gear there. Hopefully you can see that. And you can see where our holes are going to line up here, here. And the idea is you got to make sure that the fuel horn here sits down into that servo right there. You see how nice that was? Yeah. So yeah. The rest to do is to put those bolts in. And I'll be right back, folks. One quick thing. Getting these bolts back down in there can be a pain, you know, because you went down this way, you know, with your hex drive. This is the easiest way I'm going to show you to get these seated back in there. Put them in a needle nose, come in like so, and just kind of drop it. The motor's going to want to pull at them, but don't worry about that. Alright, you can win. The motor doesn't have that much power, so as far as magnetic pull goes. One more. You know, after you've done these a few times, they get easier and easier. You know, and you just might have to work with this just to get the bolt lined up to the mount, but for the most part, it's quite simple. Looks like we got that one. Yeah, we did. So yeah, that wasn't so bad. Hopefully you guys can see that, what I'm doing here. I'm trying to look at the monitor and my work to see if I'm keeping you in the frame, and so far I don't know if I'm doing a good job of that or not. But anyway, we'll tighten those up after we get the other two started. Alright, I just all I've done was tighten the motor down and put the glow plug lead on here, and that was it. So yeah, let's catch up. Now we have our fuel lines, and the fuel line coming off your gas cap goes into the exhaust. That actually supplies your bag pressure. That actually pressurizes your gas tank, forcing the fuel out of your supply line. Alright, and that goes into your carburetor. I'm going to have to put you down here for a moment, or not. Let's see if I can keep you with me here. Maybe you see my fingers here? And yeah. And by the way, we were lucky that this already had good fuel line on it, so it looks to me like somebody was troubleshooting But anyway, they went with good fuel line. So yeah. And let's put our air filter on, right here. And we'll throw some gas in it. Now, you see this is a double filter here. You don't want to oil this one. You want to oil the outside one. And it feels pretty dry, so. Actually, the best way to do these, let's get you back in. By the way, I'm going to have to come up with a new system because this is the first time I've had a large Monster Nitro truck on the bench in front of this camera. And you guys can hardly see anything if I'm not holding the camera. And if I'm holding the camera, well, I can't get anything done. Now I'm just rambling. So yeah, I'm going to cut this little tip off here. The best way to do that is with a little knife. And don't cut it so big where it just makes a mess all over the place. So the best way to do this, well then let's do it the right way. So you know, instead of just me telling you the best way, just do it the best way. Put this in a bag, like so. Filters in a bag, see that? Pour your oil in there, like so. Just pour it in there, okay? That way you can start rubbing your filter around and it really sponges it up really good. Sponge that around, like so. Okay, see that? Okay. Now, we'll leave that in there a moment until we get that filter attached, and then we'll put that on. That way we're not handling this more than we have to, because that could be a mess. They don't give you much to work with here, so you'll have to be patient. By the way, when you buy a Revo, you'll become a good mechanic really fast, because although it's a good running truck, a good jumping truck, a good looking truck, it just seems to require more maintenance than the rest of them. I think it just was a little bit over engineered, but what do I know? So yeah, now we can put our nicely oiled outer filter on. And the idea of the oil is to catch the minute particles that can make it through. And I know this is a double filter, this is a nice system, but these filters can be rewashed over and over. And they should be rewashed every couple of runs. But yeah, that's nice. So yeah, I'm gonna wipe my hands. And yeah. So we're gonna put some gas in this thing and see if we can fire it up. Now, when you first fire up a 3.3, it's been my experience that they are really stubborn. So that being said, watch this one fire right up. So yeah, let's fill our gas tank. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm bending over to open my fuel can. Now, squeeze your bottle. Take your can. Fill it up. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy. Let's go. Let's go. Fill it up enough to get 2 tanks out of it, so you don't have to do this more than you have to. That's probably 2 tanks right there, I'm thinking. Okay. We're using VP. I think I don't work for VP, but I think it's the best fuel on the market. I really do. This one is 30% nitro. 14% oil. So you know, Traxxas sets these engines from the manufacturer very rich. Don't touch any adjustment until you've broken the engine in. They do that for a reason. So it gets well lubricated during the break-in process. And, you know, I can't stress that enough, you know? Experience tells me just keep your hands off adjustments until the motor's broken in. Because right now, with a fresh motor, you don't know how it's supposed to act. Until it's broken in and you've shot it up and down the dirt road or the alley or the street a couple of times. Then you can start to hear your motor. Then you can start to adjust. So let's see if we can fire this thing up. I got one ready. See that, folks? Let's check it out. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to prime this motor. And the best way to do that is stick your finger over the exhaust pipe and squeeze this. Hear it? Hear it? Stubborn. Come on. Almost sounds flooded already. Let's check it out. Pull this lead off. And you know what? Again, I don't trust those leads. So, check it out. See if it's flooded. Okay. We're going to put a regular igniter on here. Again, I think I discussed the lack of power that these things provide to the glow plug. We'll put a hot shot on here and see what happens. Sounds flooded. Yep. So let's unflood it. How do you unflood it, Kevin? Well, let's do that. Get your glow plug out of there. Use a apply a washer with it? They did. Here's how you unplug a nitro vehicle. Tip it upside down. Just like that. So yeah, let's try this again. Like I said, the first start of 3.3 is kind of a bear. So you just have to be patient. You know? And knowing that is half the battle. So I had somebody tell me one time they think they got a defective engine. No. It's a 3.3. It's stubborn. So yeah. Oh, let's not forget our hot shot, because that's not going to do anything. I swear, it still feels... Still feels flooded. What to do? Maybe I need a more powerful battery other than a 7.4 volt. So yeah, let me get one. Be right back, folks. Alright, we got an 8.4 volt hump pack, so let's see if this does this. Okay? Sometimes you just maybe need more power. Alright folks, from here on out it's just going to be me running nitro through that new engine just to break it in. So as you can hear, it's screaming in the background right now, which is a good thing because it's still running. And yeah, that's always encouraging. Once you get past the first and second tanks, it goes easier and easier because the motor really starts to shoot it out the tailpipe. The fuel, that is. So yeah, I think this session is just about over. So thanks for watching, folks. Cheers. Hey, and if you like it, thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it. Thank you.